When the government fails in its responsibility to uphold human rights, there are consequences. And one of the, I think, realities or assumed realities that drives the government is the idea that people are helpless, that people are powerless, that people don't know their rights, that they don't know the law, and that if and when they actually know the law and know their rights, the government assumes that they have no capacity to, in fact, enforce or implement those rights or to, discipline government. Now, generally speaking, that is what drives, often, massive human rights violations, because government thinks they can get away with it. Now, Serac's role, essentially, is to change that, is to demonstrate that there isn't really anything that people, when they are organized, when they come together in their numbers, cannot achieve.
It's better imagined than know that it actually came to pass. The government only gave us 7 days radio notice, and at the expiration of that 7th day, came down to evicting her citizens from their place of abode. The situation was so terrifying. We saw a number of bulldozers, the soldier, the police, and some other military personnel with trailer load of coffins. They brought all the structures down, with no clear attention to anybody. They were ready to crush. They resettled us in an uncompleted estate. No good roads, no drainages. All that is necessary to be provided in terms of social amenities, we are deprived of it.
For the past 30 years, 10 years before the demolition of Morocco, I've been leading Morocco community, the whole of Morocco community. But after the demolition, that is from 1990, Morocco matter has engaged my attention every hour of my life. Even when sleeping, I will dream of Morocco. I'm Samuel Adeni Ayeyemi, the leader of Morocco evictees. And where we are here is one of the 3 estates allocated to us by the Lagos State government. This is the last on housing estate, where we are now. They rake us away for them to take over the land. Go to the old Morocco land now. The land has been taken over by the big men, retired military officers, Air Force men, these retired governors, this by military people, by who is who in Nigeria.
I think easily one of Serac's most outstanding accomplishments has been the Morocco struggle. The Morocco struggle is the most vibrant social movement in Nigeria. Now, when the community was destroyed in 1990, the military governor who ordered the demolition of Morocco said to the media, hey, listen, don't worry about Morocco, don't worry about this. In a few months, in a few weeks, all of this will go away. The people will disperse, they'll move on. And you don't have to, you won't hear anything about it. That was the wrong message to send, because I think the will and the, spirit of that community was way tougher than he had imagined.
Madam, please come. Baba, Mon kọjá nísìnyí, káàrin àdúgbò yín ṣá, àrọ́nà débí. Kí ló dé tẹ́ lè ṣe omi? Ẹ ń dúró de Fáṣọlá láti sámà láti wá ṣe. Nígbà tẹ́yin ò bá lè ṣe, morality wo lẹ ní láti pe Fáṣọlá yìí pé gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ẹ̀ wá ṣe fún wa. àwọn Ondo State ló ti dé àwọn èèyàn tó wá láti Ondo State wọ́n ń kọ́lé sínú igbó. As community leaders, we organize our people to do whatever development we could, at least to make the place a little bit habitable. We have been responsible for making the roads passable, but the government is not doing anything to encourage us.
Over 20 years, they have come from a point of desolation to a point of determination, where they have said clearly to the state of Lagos that you must repair the damage. You must do justice by us.
By the grace of God, we shall succeed in the African court, and we shall get our compensations fully.
Serac has taken the Morocco case to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, and at that level, we have made a lot of arguments, chief of which is that this matter has been before the Nigerian National Court for over 19 years, and without yet a hearing on the merits of the case. So under the rules of the African Commission, you are supposed to exhaust local remedies. What that actually means is that you should allow the court of the place where that violation occurred to offer you, to hear your complaints and offer you some kind of remedy. I am very optimistic that the Morocco demolitions will be reversed. In Morocco, they have not been resettled, they have not been compensated, but over the years, an average Morocco person has become empowered, has become emboldened, has become more determined to challenge. Each passing day, they become more determined to challenge that evasion.
Serac has been asking the whole world as much as possible, whoever cares, to help obtain justice for the evictees of old Morocco.
Serac is really about the communities that it serves. Its work makes meaning because of the realities that the communities present. These are people who work really hard, who are very law-abiding, and who are generally just looking to make a headway in a huge city like Lagos. Many of them have traveled from distant places to come to the city, to either found families, search for jobs, but are often, I think, at the receiving end of government's, extreme lawlessness.
Serac deploys a combination of approaches in its human rights work, and what is our work to defend and protect economic, social, and cultural rights in Nigeria and beyond. And in doing that, we combine litigation with community organizing and mobilization, and take that up to policy engagement with policymakers and lawmakers at the local, state, and federal levels.
Serac's work is really about helping these people to, I think, navigate, if you will, the very cold waters between the law and the lawlessness of the state, and really trying to help them gain the capacity to not only remain in the city, but also I think to relate with the state in a way that allows them to realize their potential.
Go to the sea for fishing, and we go back to the lagoon side for fishing. So farming is our major occupation we have in the village. My name is Alhaji Sultan Bello from Ilege village. We have been here for the past 700 years ago. So we have been living comfortably. We don't have problems whatsoever.
The state government says that they want to remove everybody, all the towns within this coastal area, right from our next village down to Olomowe, where the operation is going to end.
We heard it in the news that the government have already occupied this area.
They said they want to use it for the Lekki Free Trade Zone. By the time the information comes, every one of us feels so sad. What is going to happen? This is an ancient town where our great-great-great-grandfathers has been buried. You doesn't have any other home. You don't have any other place to go. The education of our children will be paralyzed. The farming, the businesses will be paralyzed.
We ran go to Serac straight. That this is what we saw, this is what we had. So Serac told us that we should hold on a bit and let him intervene.
The Lekki Free Trade Zone is a multi-billion-dollar project that was conceived by the Lagos State government and Chinese consortium. Sometime in July 2006, the governor then informed them that he was planning to take over their lands, and he had exercised his power under the Land Use Act to compulsorily acquire lands for overriding public interest. At that stage, there was no discussion about payment of compensation, relocation, resettlement, or even involving the people. Usually, such projects have really been a prelude to forced eviction of local communities, dispossession of the lands of the poor, and transferring them to the rich.
Pentele, oh, 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 pentele.
My name is Adeyemo Thompson. I am the Deputy Managing Director of the Lekki Free Zone Development Company, which is entrusted with the development of the first phase of the Lekki Free Zone. At the time I came in 2006, I came in to meet a letter from Serac, which was representing the communities, 9 communities which were within the first phase of the zone. And initially we thought they were raising some kind of problems for us, because we sort of got the idea, that impression that the villagers didn't want to be displaced.
Serac's role at that point was to help these communities to organize themselves and to lead a dialogue with the state, to compel the state to come to the table and have the sort of conversation that the law, I think, required.
We entered into negotiations with Serac, Mr. Felix Smoker and his team. And we found out subsequently that they were just out to safeguard and protect the interests of the villagers who were going to be displaced.
After a series of meetings, negotiations, high-level negotiations with state officials, the Chinese government officials, with communities at various places and at various times, Serac was able to work together with the communities to negotiate the terms of the landmark memorandum of understanding.
For the most part, the villages were left as they were. It was agreed that the free trade zone would be developed around the villages, so that ultimately some of the value of these investments would transfer to the villages and to generations yet unborn. Amongst the agreement that was reached was that the Lekki Worldwide Investment Limited would grant about 2.5% of the entire share capital of this business in favor of these villages.
I think that was very fascinating. It was also intriguing at the same time, because on the part of the policymakers, many of them never believed that decision-making would get to that level, whereby very rural people were considered as peasants, that they would really matter. They
were very clear. For instance, before the negotiations started, the people were resolved, spoke with one voice, Afel, that we do not want the project. Afel in Yoruba means we don't want. That was the message. In fact, the biggest town hall meeting we had with the government and the company, thousands of villagers lined up outside of the hall where this meeting was holding, one after the other, took the microphone and said just those words, Afel, were very resolute in their rejection of this project.
So Serac he has done a very good job, a great job for us. So that is why we can never forget him in life. I personally, until I die. If I die, I know my children will be here. So without Serac, we should have get away from this village.
From Germany. If I have time, I get from Germany. I like it. From Germany.
In Lagos, you have millions of people who live on the edge. Over 70% of the residents of Lagos live within these slum communities. So this is really the heart of Lagos. This is what makes Lagos what it is. But overall, these slums have, I think, come together where they are all working together to, I think, combat what is common, which is really the deprivation that they face from the state.
By working with many of these communities, I have learned that in my own personal life that I can't depend on myself alone to win any struggle, that I need the support of everybody.
So in essence, Serac's work, even in the early years, proved, I think, the point that people are important, that people matter, that what they think is important, however poor they may be, that they have a role and a duty to affect their government.
This is my work, and I'm happy Mr. Mokan Serac is helping me. To the last drop of my blood, I will continue on Morocco struggle, not for Morocco people alone, to make it a deterrent for the federal government of Nigeria. And when we succeed, we do believe that the wave will go around the whole world. It will be a sound, it will be a warning to all governments, particularly in Africa. Though you have the power, you don't have the right